All right, folks. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard a special trading the Death Star brief. I'm actually coming to you from Pompano Airport here in just north of Fort Lauderdale, just south of God's Waiting Room, which I guess in the COVID isn't too funny to say God's Waiting Room. I'm in between flights right now, and I want to let you know that I just flew with a piece of American, well, actually world history. I just flew with this guy. His L-39. He and I flew in separate aircraft. He was on my wing. His name's Orestes Lorenzo. Has anybody ever heard the name Orestes Lorenzo? Check this out. You're going to get a little history lesson about Orestes. So back in 1991, this guy jumped in a Cuban MiG-23. And you know what he did? He got airborne and flew at sea level out of Cuba and came into the break over Naval Air Station Key West. I was still in college at this time. So here's the funny story. This guy lands at Naval Air Station Key West in a MiG-23 that he stole from Cuba. And one of the guys, so I was still at Jacksonville University. I was commissioned about a month or two after this happened, and I got stationed or assigned to this squadron. And so I got the story firsthand. One of the pilots in the squadron is walking down the hallway in the hangar, and he looks out the window, and he sees this Cuban MiG pull up. And he actually runs into the ready room, and he's like, "Hey, guys, there's a Cuban MiG that just pulled up." And they're like, "All right, dude, sit down. You're late for the brief, and you're still drunk from last night." He's like, "Hey, man, I'm not shitting you. There's a Cuban." So they all run outside, and Orestes popped his canopy and jumped out. First of all, he expected to be shot down. He expected when he pulled up to the ramp, like Marines would kill him or something like that. Instead, all the guys from this fighter squadron, this adversary squadron, ran out there and shook his hand like, "Welcome to America." Within a couple hours, a couple airplanes with no markings landed. From some alphabet agencies, took the plane into a hangar, shut the doors, ripped it apart. A couple hours later, it rolled back out of the hangar. I think it was the next day or 2 days later. Of course, they demanded the plane and the pilot back, and he, refused to go. But we said, "Sure, you can take the plane back." And they flew a plane up, a cargo plane with a pilot in it. They jumped out, did a pre-flight, hopped in there, and took the jet back to Cuba. If that wasn't cool enough, guess what happened? His family was still in Cuba. His wife and his kids were still in Cuba. You know what this guy did? He went down to Marathon in the Keys, Marathon Airport, and he got a twin-engine civilian airplane, took off, flew at low altitude, told his wife, "Be at this point on this dirt road at this date and at this time." And he landed. I was talking to him. He's like, I landed on the damn dirt road here, and here comes this truck." And he was convinced it was, Cuban military, and he was going to die. They were going to shoot him and his family. Turned out to be some like farmer or something like that. He's like, "Holy crap, man!" Threw the wife and kids into my little airplane and flew back to Marathon Airport in the Keys. Absolute incredible story. So I thought I'd share that with you because we're actually getting some lunch here, and we're going to go flying again this afternoon. But what a great American actually he is right now. He wrote a book, and I'm going to get it. But you got to Google this guy's name and read about him because it's an incredible story. He went back and got his wife and kids. It's funny. So when the Cubans came up to go take the MiG back to Cuba, it had like 5,000 of our squadron's stickers all over it. You can even see the paint of this airplane. It had Navy. My squadron graffitied the whole thing up. But I just wanted to let you know that that's what I'm doing today, and that's what we're sitting here in a hangar, and we ordered some lunch, and we're gonna go out and fly again. But what a great dude! So that was a very special experience for me today. I forget the title of the book. Just Google his name, Orestes Lorenzo, and I mean, hell, I'll try and get the guy to sign it for you if you want to get it, because since we know the guy. All right, Wings of Morning. Thanks, Mark. Okay, so Wings of Morning. Really cool story. I mean, we're gonna after we land from our second flight, we're gonna have a couple wine coolers and talk through some stuff. It's always funny, talking to other aviators. I'm like, holy shit, man, I want to hear that whole story. And he's like asking me about flying over Iraq or going to Top Gun. I'm like, that was boring. Tell me more about what you did. So, all right, folks, let's get through and talk about some trading. We've had a fantastic week here at Top Gun Options. This free brief is called Trading the Death Star in a service that we have here at Top Gun Options called Solo AMZN. And man, based on those earnings yesterday, it literally is the Death Star. Now, if you're looking at the stock and it's down $192, that makes sense based on what they reported with earnings. Plus, the things had a rip your face off rally, for the past month and a half. But Amazon, literally, ladies and gentlemen, is taking over the world. There's digging into their earnings last night. I've just never. You can't not be bullish on Amazon, folks. There are some threats to being bullish on Amazon, and some of those threats developed this week, which we're going to brief. But let's stick with the kind of the aviation theme. I'm so glad I'm getting to do this brief today. These guys called me up and they're like, "Hey, Wiz, we're going to fly Friday." The main reason we were flying today is because the Blues, the Blue Angels, and the Thunderbirds, they can't fly over every city in America to say thanks to our medical personnel. So a couple cities in Florida have asked us to kind of substitute in some of the mid-sized cities, right? Like I think Punta Gorda. So today we were doing some four-ship flyover practice. So we're going to do some flybys of some Florida cities over the next couple weeks to say thanks to the medical personnel. So sticking with the aviation theme, I have a question for all the non-aviators, or even if you know a little bit about aviation. Which aircraft would you fly? Okay, I'm going to give you two choices. This is going to be choice A. So I want you guys to. I don't know if I could make it, Brian, up to Ohio. We need to do some in-flight refueling. Would you rather fly this aircraft? The picture here right now, folks, is an F4 Phantom. Beautiful airplane. I mean, sitting on the ramp, it just looked cool. It was a fast airplane, but take a look around the cockpit. Look at this thing. There's over 300 switches and dials in this aircraft. 300 switches and dials. And if you look at that picture, you could probably figure out that the pilot spends a lot of time, heads down in the cockpit. He's not spending a lot of time looking outside the cockpit for a Cuban MiG-23 or, for surface air missiles. It was a very, pilot-intensive aircraft. And as a matter of fact, there was a guy in the back seat, right, who operated the radar. So this was kind of a two-person airplane. So would you rather fly this, or, as a couple of our TGO members actually fly, this? That cockpit, ladies and gentlemen, is an F-35 Lightning II. So let's go back to this picture. This picture, we call them steam gauges, right? You ever look at like a locomotive, Polar Express, like the engine, we call those steam gauges. You see, there is not one steam gauge in the F-35. It's a glass cockpit, folks. It has two flat panel displays, right? That's it. This jet, we actually call it the Wonder Woman jet. This jet is, first of all, it's invisible to radar. And second of all, the pilot, if you ever see the helmet, they look like Darth Vader, man. I mean, the visor alone, it's a $500,000, $750,000 helmet. When they look down, they don't see the floor of the aircraft. They see ground. They see threats. It's insane how smart this airplane is. This airplane is so smart that it actually limits the amount of information that is displayed to the pilot at any given portion of the flight. For example, the F4 cockpit, there's hydraulics, fuel, oil. This jet says the dude doesn't need to see any of that now, so we're going to keep that to ourselves. It's like the HAL 3000, right? In 2001, A Space Odyssey. So the answer is clear. You don't even have to type it, even though everybody's saying it, is choice B. You want to fly the F-35 Lightning. And yeah, you probably could buy one on Amazon right now. So great airplane. So clearly that's what you'd fly. All right, no distractions. I actually we did a 4-ship. I kicked all 7 guys out of the room so I could focus on this brief. They're going to go eat some lunch and debrief, and then we're going to go flying again. But we're going to focus right now. So silence all the electronic nicotine, no distractions, and we're going to go until the top of the hour, period. Okay? My promise, by the end of this brief, I have to give you an up-to-date intelligence brief. We have to literally talk about what's going on around the globe, the United States, and then we'll get to Amazon. It's called being strategic, getting operational, and then getting tactical and talking about a trade. We don't jump into a brief and go, okay, let's trade Amazon. That's stupid. That makes no sense. That's like me being airdropped into the middle of Afghanistan with a rifle. Okay, what am I doing? No, man. Strategic, operational, tactical. We'll do a quick intelligence brief. We're going to talk about that only stock potentially that you need to own. Seriously. And a good substitute to trade. Wiz, that's a $2,300 stock right now. I can't afford to trade Amazon. You can afford to trade a pretty damn good substitute, which we did this week for a nice 90% profit that we got out of yesterday before earnings. Great call, Wiz. I know. Just ask me. If you don't know me, folks, real quick, that is my call sign. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz. Flew the Hornet, the F-18 Hornet, for about 15 years for the United States Navy. A graduate of the Navy Fighter Weapons School adversary program, so Top Gun graduate, and flew a couple combat sorties over Iraq. Probably the most boring flying you'd ever want to do, folks, was over Iraq. Wasn't that exciting? It was more challenging going to the Navy Fighter Weapons School than any other place. Okay, man, came for a trade brief, and we're talking about aviation. So how did I go from the cockpit to essentially to the trading pit? As a young aviator learning how to fly airplanes, I was also a small investor. I didn't join the Navy to get rich. I joined the Navy to serve my country. But about 2 months after Orestes landed at Naval Air Station Key West, I got commissioned and I bought my first mutual fund, bought my first stocks. My wife, back at that time, Ann Taylor was all the rage. So I bought some Ann Taylor stock and I paid the American Express bill. I bought American Express. So I started investing at a very young age, probably 21 years old, and eventually started to learn about options. Short story long, I applied everything that I was learning as a fighter pilot to my trading. This morning we briefed. We did a brief. We contingency planned. What could go wrong? Right? We asked what if these things happen? Before we even got airborne this morning, we briefed the flight. This is why this is called a live trade brief. If you join our service today, Monday at 2 o'clock, you're going to be in the Solo AMZN brief. It's not called a long, it's called a brief. And we cover everything before we even squeeze the trigger on an Amazon trade, what we're going to do potentially to exit for max profit, and when we're going to potentially exit for minimum loss. All of that stuff, flying an airplane, translated perfectly into trading, right? And I got to be honest with you, I thought everybody kind of thought like this. One of the mottos at Top Gun Options, folks, is trading is combat. It literally is a form of combat. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to get their ass handed to them. Which side of the trade do you want to be on? And the Wall Street Journal had an article yesterday that said, here comes the retail trader. A bunch of people jumping in, opening brokerage accounts at Robinhood and TD Ameritrade. Like the retail trader is seeing all this volatility and thinking it's a great time to get in. It is, if you know what you're doing. Who is that? Sergeant Stryker in the sands of Iwo Jima. Life's tough. It's even tougher if you're stupid. So you don't have to be a fighter pilot at all or even know anything about the military to implement how we trade here at Top Gun Options. So took what I learned, applied it, popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility arbitrage firms in the country, man, the Smart Money. Right there. That was our firm. Was our firm right there. Big, beautiful trading floor right here at the intersection of Jackson and LaSalle. For anybody who knows, that's the CBOT. That's the Chicago Board of Trade. What a great time when I was there. I helped build a hedge fund. When I was there, I helped build a brokerage firm that was called Options House at the time, which is now E-Trade. And I'd be lying if I didn't tell you I felt like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places, right? Literal old retail trader. Smart money. Ooh. When I got into a couple rooms in Chicago, I realized that I was pretty damn smart, and the smart money ain't necessarily that smart. They put their pants or their dress on one leg at a time or both legs at a time, just like you do. And as a matter of fact, sometimes you can be even smarter than the smart money. Okay, so I had an absolute blast, I was the managing director of strategy. It was a $2.5 billion firm at the time, and I had a blast. I was the founder and CEO of the Options News Network, ONN TV. We were the CNBC for options. I know John and Pete from my time in Chicago, John and Pete Najarian, those guys on CNBC, the brothers, football players, options traders. CNBC pays lip service to options, folks. Watch options action. When is it? 5:30 on a Friday. Fairly certain 5:30 on a Friday. I got other plans, but so we founded the Options News Network, which was essentially the CNBC for options. Had an absolute blast doing that. Anybody in here from Chicago? How many people we got in here? 455. Got to put my cheaters on here. Yep. Okay, good. Yeah, no, we lived out in Napertucky. We lived out in Naperville, out due west. So this clearly is an old picture, but this is when we. Mike's out in Naperville. That's right. This kid actually flew this morning 2 hangars down. He went to, or does go to, I'm not sure what's going on with life right now. He's at Norwich University up in Vermont. He's at the Military College of Vermont. He's in the Corps of Cadets, and once he was dropped on his head when he was a kid because he wants to fly for the Marine Corps. Jack, over here, he's got the devil in him. He's a freshman in high school. He is flying right now in a Diamond 44, 2 hangars down. So both these kids are going through flight school right now, down a couple hangars from me. Jack wants to go to the Naval Academy. He's 15. This is Keely Grace. She's 12 going on 29 and isn't allowed to leave the house. So this was right before we left Chicago to come to Boca Raton, where I started Top Gun Options 10 years ago. Wow. All right, so here we go. Obviously, before you do anything or want to learn how to trade options, you got to know who the company is, what the company is about, and who the person is. So that's we're done talking about me. Now let's go do our strategic brief, get operational, and get tactical, and debrief some Amazon earnings here. First of all, we have to cover things from a strategic point of view. If you've been watching my sit reps lately, have been nice. Well, I'm not going to call it nice. I've been very critical of the president. Last night, he finally gave a great answer to a question I've been wanting to ask him. China, love when the president says China. Tremendous China. Nobody says China better than Trump. Believe me. Like the likes of nobody's seen before. China. So last night, good question. Mr. President, China owns $1.3 trillion of our debt. We are conservative. The Fed alone, folks, is $6.3 trillion on its balance sheet. I've never, Scotty in the engine of the enterprise, man, type of, full throttle here. Mr. President, why haven't you picked up the phone and called your good friend Xi? Nobody respects Xi bigger than me. Believe me, tremendous respect. He's a good friend. Why haven't you told him, hey, that $1.3 trillion in U.S. debt, why don't you tear that up like Nancy Pelosi with the State of the Union? He gave a very good answer last night, finally. Because as an American, haven't you been wondering the same thing? China got us sick, man. Not only did they get our country sick, they got our military sick, and they're swooping in and potentially buying American companies right now at distressed prices. Holy crap. They didn't even fire a shot. We're at war with China, folks. I watched this Korean war thing on PBS last night. That's how much of a nerd I am. Don't forget, folks. Oh my God, fighting. We've been at war. We fought China in the Korean War, folks. They came right in to help the North. You ever hear of MiG Alley? We've shot down Chinese MiGs. They've killed America. We've fought China in wars before, folks, and we're in one right now. So the president said, hey, there are better ways to get back at China than doing the whole this debt's no good. Perfect answer, Mr. President. Because if we go up, where does the full faith and credit of the United States go if people are like, holy crap, did you just see him wake up and say that debt's zero? Why would we buy U.S. debt? So the president, I will give him 1,000% credit because that's what he said last night. He's like, there's other ways I'm going to tariff. So that beautiful, fantastic, tremendous, nobody does phase one trade deals better than Trump. Remember, and the reason this market is flat up here is because of this. But remember the fall of last year, the good old days, it was that. First of all, it was FOMO, fear of missing out. And second of all, it was a potential phase one trade deal. Everybody remember this? The market having this rip your face off rally? Well, now there ain't no phase one trade deal. And the president of the United States said last night, what? Hey, man, they can hold that debt, but here's the deal. I'm going to raise tariffs out of this world on them. So, no, Ed, I completely agree. The U.S. doesn't want to renege on its debt. We don't want to pull a who was his Boris Yeltsin. We don't want to go Boris Yeltsin 1991 and wake up one day and go, okay, world, every debt in this country is zero. So restart. I completely agree, Ed. That's what I'm saying. Is he needed to have? A lot of Americans were wondering why we're bankrupt as a country and we haven't done anything to these guys yet. So I completely agree. Exactly, Steve. It was a nice, level-headed response from the president. So I've been ripping this guy to shreds for the past 2 months. Finally, the dude is up and airborne and making sense. All right, a couple other quick strategic points. This was interesting. The story behind how the president got Muhammad, his good buddy, tremendous respect for this dude who's a cold-blooded murderer. He got on the phone with MBS, Mohammed bin Salman. And this guy actually told his aides to leave the room because the president read him the riot act. He's like, listen to me, dude. If you don't cut oil production, I am pulling all of my troops out of your country. And I'm actually going to give Iran a call when I do it and say, it's wide open, fellas. He threw his aides out of the room and like, oh, and then what happened? Because you know as well as I do, Putin and MBS were on the phone like, dude, let's just stick it to the United States. They're sick from China. Let's squeeze them from this side. This is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So quick strategic brief about that. Remember, folks, oil being down here at whatever it is, oil was a teenager, man. Oil in the teens. And real quick, nobody in this room, 500 people now, do not ever trade this name. I sent out an emergency text alert a week and a half ago warning everybody do not trade USO. Step one in investing, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. I have to say, I had a guy in a sister squadron. His call sign was Moto. You know why his call sign was Moto? Master of the obvious. This was one of those guys. We're all like, dude, that was him, Moto. That might sound Moto, but it isn't. I had people a couple weeks ago like, hey, Wiz, I'm thinking of getting long. I'm like, oh my God, stop. Retail traders got wiped out. People, I put all my 401k. I know this is off topic. Do not trade the USO, folks. Stop with oil. Retail traders piling in. They don't even know what futures. They don't even know how to spell the word contango, and they're jumping in USO, folks. Please. So oil, ladies and gentlemen, is a potential black swan event here. Okay, so I just wanted to cover that. So the president has been dragged kicking and screaming to blaming China. You guys remember months ago, one of the reasons I was giving the president crap was we knew back here what was going on. On January 22nd, ladies and gentlemen, I was in a live trade brief right there. To the day, January 22nd, the president was sitting in Davos. CNBC interview, he said, I believe Xi, he's a good friend. I believe the numbers out of China. Coronavirus ain't a threat at all. It's why are you asking me this question? Move on. Next question. You're stupid. You're a stupid reporter. Next. I looked into this camera, and you can see it on our website. I said, get out of everything. Get into cash, get long volatility, and buy puts on the S&P 500. And we literally made millionaires. This was the easiest money I've ever made in my life was that. We predicted a W, right? Let me tell you right now that this is the market. This is a decision point right here. What do you mean decision point? It's a potential K. There's only one of two things that's going to happen, folks. We're either going to do this or this. Why? Here's the case for this. It's 3 letters. The only reason we are up here right now where we are, and I'll be the first to tell you right here, folks, I got blown out of like 3 or 4 trades, blown out of the sky. Why? FED. I could not have, this dead cat bounce right here, I said, oh my God, mortgage the wife, kids, get rid of everybody and get bearish. FED jumped in. I'll never forget that, man. That's the day capitalism died. I joked with some folks in our afterburner squadron. I said my recycling bin is full. You know what it's full of? All the investing books. Throw everything out, folks. It's over with. Anything you knew about investing is done. The Federal Reserve currently has a balance sheet of about 6.2. I can't even. I got a lot of buddies, man. I got hedge fund, political, Pentagon. I got a booger eater buddy at a Ivy League. He's an economist. He's like, Wiz, the math doesn't work anymore. The amount of liquidity that the government has pushed into this system, 492 of you, are not strong enough to make the market do that. Period. This is very dangerous right now, ladies and gentlemen, for the American government and the American people. I'm not going to sit here and regale you with the $12 billion so far that banks have made on those PPP loans. I'm not going to tell you about the Lakers getting $4 million, but they returned it. They shouldn't have applied for it. Are you kidding me? I got buddies south of here in Fort Lauderdale who are going to go bankrupt, personal bankruptcy. I had to talk to one dude literally off a ledge a couple weeks ago. Wiz, they're bailing out Ruth's Chris, and my Italian place will never open again. This is what happens, folks. It's called a moral hazard. It's awful. But we did this to ourselves, right? The Fed, ladies and gentlemen, is just pumping money into this market. We had another 3.8 million folks. We're in the 30s. 30 million Americans out of work. Now, you have to make a decision. I'll tell you what I think. With all the folks, money's liquid. It's like airflow. It goes, this is going somewhere. I'm telling you, man, 2012, 13, whenever that was, it took me a good 2-3 weeks of losses. Why? The Fed was pumping money in. You remember QE, quantitative, QE1, 2, Operation TARP, QE3. Now we're in QE infinity. But I remember having losing trades back then going, folks, the reason the Fed's pumping money in is it's bad because it's bad. Wiz, shut up and smoke the hopium. But no, things are bad. Wiz, smoked a hopium. By like week 3, I'm like, I'm smoking a hopium. It took me literally 0.01 seconds a month ago to go bullish, done. But everything's awful. Nope, it isn't. The stock market, ladies and gentlemen, is not the economy. The stock market could care less about the economy right now. Now, if we keep doing this and the macro data keep doing that, the delta between these two, if they ever meet, will be violent and horrific. Earlier, was it this week? Man, the weeks are running together. Earlier this week, Jeffrey Gundlach, Double Line Capital, $100 billion hedge fund, came out and said, I'm moving out of cash and I'm moving in and getting short the market. He believes we are going to do this W. And he said, we're not even going to retest these March lows. We're going to blow through them. That's a dude swinging $100 billion. He, 2 months after I did, said Trump would win, the market would rally. I said it 2 months before he did. He predicted Facebook would implode a month after we did. He and I, not that I know the dude, but he has been pretty lockstep with what I agree with. This week, done. So if Mr. Gundlach is actually honest about what he said earlier in the week and got short, he lost a lot of money this week. So you, as the pilot in command of your portfolio, have to make a decision. Do you believe in the Fed? Because folks, if we do, remember, most of these implosions on the way down here were what? Event driven. There was a thing, something like breaking news or this or ventilators or Governor Cuomo said this. So unless we get so I've red team with my afterburner folks and some folks at TG. What's going to cause this market to drop again? Oil. Dude, we're sitting. Oil's, no, move on. A second wave hits us. Ladies and gentlemen, I came up with this term at the beginning of this crisis. COVID fat. What did I predict was going to happen, TGO members? I said, this is going to be sad. We're going to get COVID fatigue. At a certain point, the market doesn't care whether Governor Cuomo or Governor Newsom says another 1,000 people died or not, or 2,000 or 3. It doesn't matter. That sounds horrific, and it is, but at the end of the day, the market got COVID fatigue. Remember, the market is forward-looking. We're kind of ignoring this, and Apple, we're not even going to give you forward guidance. We don't even know what forward is, but hey, we did pretty good over here. Same thing, we'll talk Amazon in 2 minutes. So you have to make a decision, because I could not be more bullish, first of all, on the market, but also on Amazon. Great segue, Wiz, I know. Now, if you, as the pilot in command of your airplane, think you agree with Jeffrey Gunlock, ladies and gentlemen, the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, what's today, Friday? Wednesday, folks, the Fed more or less said, we will do whatever it takes to stabilize, quote, the economy. That's not what they mean. The stock market. Donald Trump, for the first time in a press conference last night, mentioned what? Can you believe it? Look at the stock market. Tremendous, tremendous recovery. Believe me. If the Fed, if we do kind of start turning down off on fill in the blank news, and the Fed can't stop, isn't strong enough to keep this up, you're not going to be caring about your portfolio. It'll be civil war. We will have social unrest. This is why the Fed and Mnuchin and the president are being very careful to not call things bailout. I'm furious, folks. Earlier in the week, the Fed bailed out Carnival Cruise Lines. The Wall Street Journal reported how the math worked. But let's just put it this way. You, if you're an American taxpayer, bailed out a cruise ship company that is foreign flagged. Why are they foreign flagged, Wiz? They want to avoid taxes, OSHA laws, Coast Guard regulate. What? I bailed out a cruise. So first of all, I never wanted to go on a cruise anyway. I thought they were floating Petri dishes before. Now they're floating coffins. You bailed them out. I didn't hear that. Of course you didn't. I know that you and me have also bailed out several large hedge funds that shall remain nameless, mainly with guys who own G5 airplanes that fly in and out of Boca. Do you think the Fed would have a press conference at 1 o'clock today? Breaking news, we just wanted to let you know the names of all the hedge funds we've bailed out. Of course they're not going to do that. You'd get your pitchfork and your torch in Washington. Do you think the hedge funds themselves would say, hey, we just want to, let's have a press conference after the Fed and let all our investors know we needed to get bailed out? Of course, they're not going to say that. As I'm speaking to you, man, there is a lot of stuff going on that we either will never know about, or if we do, it'll be too late for us to be super pissed about it. So you need to make a decision as we get in Amazon right now. Are we doing that, or are we doing that? Because it is binary at this point, folks. We're not going to implode. We got half the implosion back right here and just kind of trade sideways for forever. That's not going to happen, man. Either all the liquidity the Fed has put into this engine gives us a liftoff, or it ain't going to work, Wiz. It's a very interesting discussion, and I know there's a lot of stuff flying around the chat box, but let's press forward. All right. I'm with you guys. And Carl, I agree. Most of the crews are from the Philippines, man. I get it. I mean, I don't even watch some of my sit reps from earlier in the week, guys. I'm furious. I'm not happy we bailed out the airlines. I was an airline guy. Airlines are critical. No, they're not. Well, we can carry cargo. We have FedEx and UPS and hell, Amazon Air. All right, let's go. Anyway, Amazon. I haven't checked the news. I had to check all my other Amazon stuff. I didn't check this about this strike today. Does anybody have any current intel on this? It doesn't. I mean, Amazon's down what, $200? Oops, hold on. Let me get back into my Amazon account. I think it was down. It was down $192, which, to be honest with you, it really isn't. Tex. So why would we bail out Carnival? You got it. Why don't you ask your elected? I'm telling you guys, a reckoning is coming. When Americans see what the Fed. So my buddies' restaurants in Fort Lauderdale, I got guys who own restaurants, car detailing services, my barber. When my barber finds out that we bailed out Carnival Cruise Lines and he's declaring bankruptcy, this is, man, if you followed me on the Options News Network back then, I said let it burn. I said let it burn. All these financial AIG, let it go out of business. Well, Wiz, they do insurance and reinsurance. Let it burn, folks. From the ashes will rise a phoenix. Nope. Everybody gets a trophy. We are in this situation right now because of our own fault. Everybody gets a trophy. For the love of God and all things holy, the President of the United States should know more than anybody about the power of bankruptcy and failure and how you can overcome it and actually get better. But we have created this moral hazard, folks. This is a horrific. We are paying people more to not work than to work. Driving to the airport this morning with my son Jack, we listened to Larry Kudlow. Yeah, that's a problem. Geez, we're gonna have to try and figure that one out. What are you, stupid? You're Larry Kudlow, Steve Mnuchin. In full disclosure, Steve, my sister runs Dune Capital. She ran Dune Capital with Steve Mnuchin. I've had dinner with the guy. My sister knows the president. She runs a REIT. Dune Capital is a REIT in New York City, so she knows the Donald. You're telling me that these smart people, first of all, didn't think that the banks, when they got all this PPP stuff, would turn immediately to their biggest clients and hook them up over mom and pop? What are you, new? And you didn't? Well, whatever, man. Here's the other reason why I'm kind of upset about this is because, and you guys should be too, every person in this room is an investor of some level. Pretty soon, you are going to be categorized as evil. The stock market keeps going up and there's 40 million Americans out of work. Arrgh. Oh, man. It shows that you're smart. I've actually throttled back on some of my talking because I'm like, oh, man. I've been on both sides, folks. I got furloughed after 9/11 from American Airlines, and I was on Texas state unemployment. I've been there, folks. Do my Mnuchin. No time for imitations. Anyway, I don't think the strike is that big a deal. Some bad this week, folks, with Amazon. Did you see Missouri senator wants the DOJ? Whenever you see the words DOJ, it's bad, right? When you see the word DOJ, it's bad. When you see the words FTC, that's okay. That's like civilian. But Amazon earnings, ladies and gentlemen, were an absolute blowout. Well, they missed, or they hit top but missed the bottom. Did you see what Jeff Bezos said? If you're a share owner in Amazon, you might want to take a seat. Meaning, this dude doesn't. He thinks dividends are for chumps. Any penny. If the dude made a penny, he's furious that he didn't take that penny and go and do something with it. The guy's brilliant. Richest dude in the world. I love the way he talked yesterday. He's like, I don't care about profit. This is another reason why my recycling bin is full of old investing books. You got a guy like this who's like, I don't want to make any money. I want to take every penny that I make and go do something with it. I remember I broke this to my TGO members 5, 6, whenever it was. I said, a buddy of mine at FedEx told me, he was in FedEx corporate. He's like, dude, Amazon. I have a buddy at a leasing company. He's like, he just told me that Amazon leased 5 airplanes. I'm like, that crazy son of a bitch, he's going to build his own FedEx and UPS. Hello, Amazon Air. This guy is in everything, ladies and gentlemen. I could not be more bullish. I mean, at one point they were saying, look at this. Look at this bullet point. Amazon said it plans to spend all of its profits for the second quarter of this year, an estimated $4 billion, on response to the coronavirus pandemic. They take every penny that they make and reinvest it in something. If you're a shareholder in Amazon, you might want to take a seat because we're not thinking small. This is I don't want to go in and break everything point by point because I want to talk about a potential trade, and more importantly, they're in everything. They're in pharma. They're in Amazon Pharmaceutical. They already copyrighted that like web page and domain. They're in pharma. They're in groceries. They're in space. They're in Amazon Air. They're in everything, guys. This is why I call it the Death Star. So if you're sitting here, I got to be honest with you, man. First of all, this was a little bit of a buy the rumor. You ever hear this? Buy the rumor, sell the news. So this thing, of course, was going to pull back. Even if they had blowout earnings, buy the rumor, sell the news. This is a gift. I predict by my birthday, hint, December 31st, this thing is a $3,000 stock. Easily a $3,000 stock. And this might be the only name you need to be trading. Wait, man, that doesn't sound like good. So I got quick diversion here. This is going to shock many of you, or maybe it's not. Wall Street's lying to you. Of course, that's one of the reasons I left Wall Street. It was a disgrace. Most of the guys and gals on Wall Street would push their own mother in front of a bus to make a dollar. It was awful. Coming from the military, where a squadron, and you trust somebody with your life, to Wall Street was what a letdown. Another reason why I wanted to do this on my own. But folks, how many times have you heard this? Don't put all your eggs in the one basket. You've heard that since day one in the investing book, which should be in the recycling bin. Get rid of it. Why diversification is an important investing? Well, it's important and you must diversify. Why should you diversify, folks? Why up until today's brief, were you told to diversify? Why were you told to diversify? The answer is on the screen. Why? Money. Brokers, ladies and gentlemen, make money how? On commissions. You ever see the movie Wall Street? You ever see Boiler Room or The Wolf of all those things? Let me cold call little old ladies in tennis shoes. Oh, I know you're in this stock, but let's put you over in this one. And then back into that one. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. You must diversify, Mrs. Smith, into 5 different names. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That is why you were told to diversify. Let's get little old lady in tennis shoes into as many names as we can, right? Well, guess what this guy has to say? Diversification is a protection against ignorance. It makes very little sense to those who know what they're doing. Let me say that in whiz speak. Diversification is for people, for investors who don't know what they're doing. Let that sink in. Does that make sense? And if you are freaked out, like, dude, that doesn't. I've always been told I can't put all my eggs in one basket. I need to diversify. Did I just ripple through? Look at Amazon Web Services, folks. I'm using it right now. Last night, watching the North Korean thing was on Amazon Prime. They're in entertainment, web. They got their own FedEx and UPS. They're in this. They're in space. You name it. They're in everything, folks. There's your diversification. As a matter of fact, the threat to being just in one name, Donald Trump and the FTC, if they broke Amazon up, it's worth more separate than it is together right now, right? Take a look at this. Look at their annual revenue, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. That is just absolutely insane. It's just, you can't even. Yeah, the Mark Twain. Yeah, put all your eggs in one basket and watch that basket. So here are the risks of just trading Amazon. Stocks can go to zero, folks. Period. Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, Pets.com, Enron. The graveyard of stocks going to zero is full of companies. But what was the one common theme in like these 4 examples? They didn't own a thing. Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers. You know what they owned? Nothing. They owned air. They owned paper. Here's how that happened. Hey, Wiz, I just bailed out of my trades with Bear Stearns. I'm hearing they're having liquidity problems. Dude, why didn't you tell me before that? Hey, Bear Stearns, it's Wiz. Yeah, what's up, Wiz? Get me out of every position with you. What? We're good for it. Get me. Counterparty risk run on those financials. They didn't own anything, folks. Pets.com. What did Pets.com own? You're looking at it. A sock puppet and a domain. What did Enron own? Nothing. They were a, quote, middleman of electricity. Didn't even own the building they were in. So Amazon owns just about everything, or they lease the damn airplanes. This is another risk to trading Amazon, ladies and gentlemen, and it's that dude, right? So what did I say happened this week? Let me lay it on you. United States, puts Amazon foreign websites on list of platforms blamed for facilitating piracy. Oof. Missouri senator wants to open a criminal probe because Amazon lied in front of Congress. And a strike today. Whoa. Those are some kind of pretty big threats, right? But I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I like to say this at Top Gun Options. I wear two suits. I wear a flight suit. I'm going to tell you how I feel as, and I am today. I'm going to tell you how I feel as an American and a taxpayer in America. And then I'm also going to go, but I don't care. And I'm going to be Gordon Gekko. For example, 2 weeks ago, 300 Amazon workers go on strike. And I'm like, because of coronavirus and they're not giving them a protective equipment. I'm like, the guy on the left side of your screen said, you know what? What a disgrace. Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, he could find enough money in his couch to buy all of them like biological spacesuits to work. What a jerk. The guy on the right, me on the right, says, good, there's 300 new job openings. Fire every one of those people. And they did. As a matter of fact, you should fire everybody who makes $17 an hour because with 40 million Americans out of work, you could probably pay people $1. Yeesh. Yeah, I'm going to tell you both in my trade briefs, folks. I'm going to tell you this, and then we're going to make money off it. I love the way they treat their workers, folks. The less they can pay them and the more productivity they can get out of them, the better. I know that sounds awful, but that's why Gordon Gekko is Gordon Gekko and Lieutenant Buckley is Lieutenant Buckley. Now that I scared the hell out of you, well, Steve, so that is a potential risk, right? The forced breakup of Amazon. Tell me when that's going to happen. You don't have to type the answer. I'm going to tell you. Does anybody remember Microsoft, IBM, Standard Oil, the baby bells? The FTC, ladies and gentlemen, takes 5, 10, I think 15 years, folks. I hope I'm still alive by the time the FTC would get around to recommending what to do with Amazon. It ain't happening anytime soon. Does everybody understand that? Go through your list of companies that have been broken up and tell me how long it took. You will absolutely, you got it, Nestor. They will be in the courts forever. My kids will be taking over Top Gun Options by the time they get around to doing something with Amazon. And by then, to be honest with you, Jeff Bezos might have done what on his own? Dude, Amazon Air, its own public company. Amazon Space, no. So what are the benefits, folks? Here are the benefits to just trading Amazon. And I got to go faster and funnier to stay on time with these guys too. Well, dude, ladies, you trade the same name and potentially profit no matter which direction it goes. As many of you know, if you're familiar with options, you can make money if the stock goes up, down, or sideways. That's fantastic. You stay focused on the news and events that impact what? Just Amazon instead of a bunch of different stocks and ETFs, and you become an expert reducing time and spent in other positions. I have a buddy who's an Apple market maker. He doesn't know a stock market exists. I'm not joking when I say that, folks. He's an Apple. He's a green, like me in the flight suit. He didn't S&P 500. It's all Apple all the time. Tremendous Apple. Nobody does Apple better than him. Believe me. Now, if you're sitting there, you're an F-35 pilot. Now, Doc usually comes to these free briefs. He's a member, but I give my plastic surgeon in Boca. First time I met the guy, right? We're at Starbucks, and I'm going to try and help him out. I'm like, dude, lay it on me. Let me see your trading, your positions. You know what it was? It was that. I'm not kidding you when I tell you this guy had 33 positions. It gave me, I'm grateful he was a doctor. It gave me agita. I was about to fall out of the chair. I'm like, holy crap, 30? I think that's a pot stock. I don't know what that is. That one, I don't know what, oh no, this one, I'm waiting for it to come back and then I'm going to sell it. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, stop. Do not keep talking because my head's going to fall off. Are you kidding me? The dude works 8, 10, 12-hour days, surgery, office hours. Oh, in between, things, I got to look at are you high? Are you high, Doc? So I took him from an F4 to a Joint Strike Fighter. Is that you? How many of you have a cockpit like this? I know the answer is a lot of you. Now, if some of you are sitting there like, Wiz, that just doesn't compute. I have to diversify. Guess what we're going to diversify into in this portfolio? This is an ETF, XLY. Here's your diversification, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the screen. XLY is an ETF. It's an exchange traded fund. Take a look at the screen. There's your diversification. So if you can't afford to trade a $2,200, $2,300 stock, you can afford to trade a $115 ETF, can't you? Oh, hell yeah, I can. And look at the names. Amazon, Home Depot, Mickey D's, Nike. Can't stand Nike, can't stand Starbucks, Lowe's, Booking, TJX, Target, GM. The number one position of the damn XLY, 25, 26% is our Amazon shares. So there you go, folks. Solo Amazon, in parentheses, XLY. We also trade XLY because that's the ETF. Okay. So, hey, man, I'm going to teach you Monday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon how we establish what we call a base position. We're going to establish synthetic stock with a protective put. We always need an ejection seat. Even the L-39 I'm flying in has a hot ejection seat. I ain't flying a single engine tactical jet without a way to get out of it. Or a long call diagonal, also with a protective put. Then, so we're going to hop in our Joint Strike Fighter and fly the speed of light out into the future. We can get bullish on Amazon out to December, Christmas rally. Christmas ain't going to be canceled this year, guys, even if we're all locked inside. As a matter of fact, I think Amazon blows everybody away with the Santa Claus rally. Hell, we can get into our F-35 and fly 2 years into the future and get bullish on Amazon. And then what are we going to do? We're going to trade the front months. What's a front month? You're sitting in a front month. April, May, June. We're going to trade tactically what's going on right now in the front month. Amazon or XLY are going up. Okay, we'll do some bullish spreads or maybe buy some calls. Amazon's going down, bearish spreads, and maybe if we're doing synthetic stock or a long call, we can sell what is called an FMC, front month call. Dude, it's just trading sideways here. For a couple weeks there, we were trading XLY iron condors, and iron condor is a range-bound trade. Beautiful, terrific range-bound trade. Let me show you what we did this week in our Solo Amazon brief. What did I do with Amazon? I did absolutely nothing. Why? Because it was earnings. And what did I say to my members in Solo Amazon on April 27th? I said, hey, man, this is a popcorn week as far as Amazon. I'm going to sit here. I did. I didn't have popcorn. I had a Macallan 18 watching earnings yesterday. But we traded XLY instead. We did what a tactic called a bull put spread. We did the today 113, 112 and a half bull put spread. We brought in a credit of 14 cents. 14 cents bull put spread we did Monday afternoon. When did we get out of it? Yesterday in our weekly debrief, I said I would get out of this because of Amazon earnings. How did that make out? I don't even know what the XLY is. Didn't even look at it yet today. Oh my God, Wiz, it imploded. Yep. What did I say yesterday in the brief? I am closing this trade in case Amazon sells on the news. And look at this. This thing. So I did 300 contracts, which was a risk, a max potential loss of 10.8. Holy crap, man. I wouldn't want to risk that much. I'd $5,000. Okay, Einstein, then you would have done 150 contracts. Remember, I'm not a registered investment advisor. I'm not a broker dealer. As the disclaimer all said, man, you're getting the eavesdrop and look over my shoulder at what I'm doing. I cannot tell you what to do. You signed for your own airplane, man. You got to talk to, especially, you got to be paper trading before you know what you're doing. And then before you ever squeeze the trigger with any real capital, you got to talk to an RIA or a broker dealer or certified financial planner. But hey, man, I don't want to risk 10.8. I want to risk half that. Well, then you do half the contracts. I want to risk $1,000. Well, then you do, I don't know, 75, whatever it is. But what happened this week? Yesterday in the brief, this happened. Yesterday, 4:30, close XLY bull put spread for 4 cents, a 71%, $3,000 profit in 3.5 days. Isn't that awesome? I said, hey, man, do not hold this. I'm not holding this through earnings. There's no way. I unfortunately, one of my good buddies, nice 7-figure loss on Amazon. Whew. Didn't listen to me. And check this out. In the past 2 weeks in our weekly options and Solo Amazon portfolios, weekly options is every Monday at noon. Solo Amazon is every Monday at 2. $23,115 in profit. Absolutely outstanding. So add that with that about 26 grand in the past. Let's say 3 weeks. 3 weeks, 26 grand in covered trades that we've done live at noon and 2 o'clock. Fantastic. So what would I be doing now? First of all, I think XOY is going to give back a little bit more of this. Here's what we're going to do. What am I going to do? I'm going to wait until Monday at 2 in Solo Amazon, and we are going to look to get, you ready for this bullet? Look at this. In the options chain, folks, we can fly all the way out. Look at this. Man, we could get as bullish by January of 2022. It's a $5,000 stock using cocktail napkin math. By December of this year, it is going to be at January. My prediction by Jan 2021, it's a $3,000 stock easily. So Monday in our Solo Amazon brief at 2, I'm going to show you how to get long synthetic stock. SP, does one need to use a large amount of capital, XOY, for Amazon trades? Yes and no, right? Looking at one, let's just go out to, hey, Wiz, I think you're right. Christmas ain't canceled this year, and Amazon, like they have done every year since Christmas started, or Amazon started, they do fantastic, right? Let's just say, you know what, man, I do think it might be a $3,000 stock buy out then. Do they even have a 3,000 strike? How high does it go? Oh, they do. Buying one, January 21, 3,000 call right here. You're not going to get it at the mid, so we probably have to go up a little bit. Between the mid and the ask is $8 grand. That's not cheap. But the name of this, and we gotta push it up here. The name of the service is called what? Solo Amazon. This might be the only. Well, I only have $8 grand in my account. Well, guess what? This might be the only name that you focus on. That was the whole point of this brief. That's why it's called Solo Amazon. Okay. Hell, I might be coming up with a Solo Apple brief here because in my significant other's account, that's all she's trading. We're mainly doing that because of the dividend. Jeff Bezos has said, if I ever give a dividend back, you can shoot me. I mean, why am I returning taxpayer money? Close enough. Shareholder money. Did you see first of all, they announced they're increasing their dividend yesterday, Apple, and they're buying back more of their shares, but different brief. But SP, not sure what your first name is. Hey man, $8 grand. Why don't we take a look at the XLY out to January? Well, how high did the XLY get recently? 130s. Let's go out to the 130s in XLY. Let's see what those look like. 130s. Look at that. $3 grand. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is 10 contracts. Okay. I like both the trades I showed you on the screen. The Amazon long calls, I love those. And these right here, I love these as well. I absolutely believe this with both hands. And I'll do this again for the sake of time. I'll do these Monday at 2. Yep, that's what I'm going to do right now. Thanks for reminding me, Robert. Got 4. That's a different Robert. You got it, man. Absolutely. So yeah, let me lay it on you. And so Solo Amazon, I think we're coming up on like a year of this service. This is our newest live trading service here at Top Gun Options. The live trade briefs normally are about $167 a month. This is $97, man. Somebody asked earlier, I didn't ignore your question. The full throttle program's closed. We are at capacity, and I mean that's just we're not taking any more folks into our other services. actually, that's February. Let me show you what, I'll show you live what the portfolio is up year to date. Hey, Wiz, you said it's every Monday at 2 o'clock. I work, even if working from home. 80% of our members work, folks. I send out an email and a text with the trade, either before the brief or during the brief or after the brief. It just depends on when we see it. I send out an email that's got a screenshot of the order ticket. Here's a screenshot of the risks, and the replay is posted about 30, 45 minutes after I do the brief. Today, I'm also going to throw in our proprietary materials. You're going to get your primary, intermediate, and advanced workbooks. Those, you ready for this, folks? If you go to our webpage right now to buy these manuals, they're $197. I mean, people go and do that, and I'm like, why didn't you just buy Solo Amazon for the $97 and you save? There's $100 back in your pocket technically. The Gordon Gecko in me says, good. The lieutenant in me is like, dude, what do you do? The Solo Amazon for $97 and get the $197 worth of manuals, man. Duh. So here's what you get. Access to the Solo Amazon live trade brief every Monday at 2 p.m. The text and email alerts. You get those 3 skill-based manuals, and you get access to our online forum. It's called the Ready Room. Like the Ready Room, I'm kind of sitting in a Ready Room right here. It's couch and tables, and this is where we, hang out before we brief or after we debrief, right? Real quick, Sudar made 200 grand on 20 Amazon call contracts. Fantastic return. Kevin, I don't know if Kevin, he's in here. Amazon synthetic stock, late to enter, up 200%. He paid 8 grand and it was up to 24. Greg, this guy printed money in Solo Amazon here. His Jan 2020 was up 49 grand at that point, and the other one was 144 grand at another point. These are screenshots from a brief like this. Thomas, I think I saw you in here. October this year, up 10 grand. David, did Amazon TGO synthetic stock 2 months ago, up $42,000. Diane, up 70 grand with 1 contract. So here's what we're going to do. Solo Amazon, it's $97 a month. Today, I will give you a 25% discount if you do an annual membership. Okay. Yeah, I'm taking you there right now, folks. This will be, so you have 2 choices. You can do monthly. And yeah, of course, whoever just wrote that, of course you can. You can, hey, Wiz, I want to do the monthly and, then maybe go over to an annual. Here's the annual. I'll put this in the chat box. So you save 25% if you do an annual. There's the annual in the chat box right here. Or you do $97 a month. Do it, guys, $97. I was about to say I was going to go out drinking after the second flight, and I probably spend more than $97. I'm not going anywhere except actually Doc has over in this Ready Room. There's a little bar over there. So, but that bottle of that's a bottle of Fireball. Never mind. I might not be staying here to have a drink with Doc and Orestes. I'm not drinking. There better be other things over there. Yeah, let me give you the monthly link right here. Hold on. And then I got to go, folks. Sorry, I hate to brief and run, but these guys have been waiting for me. I was going to cancel this, but I'm like, hold on. Let me cancel. Let me grab this. The monthly link. Sorry. Solo-Amazon copy link address. Let me paste it in here. Paste. See if it pastes in here. Hold on. TopGunOptions.com/solo. Let me type it out here, guys. Give me 1 second. Solo. It's stupid. It's like dash monthly. I think that's it. Hold on. Amazon dash monthly. So Amazon dash monthly. My techies, man, that's spelled wrong. My techies, they gotta give me like a URL that ain't this. I'll debrief. $97, folks. Yep, that's it. Try it out for a month, man. $97 in the old days would be me buying you a round of drinks. There it is in the chat box. So I hate not answering questions and running, but these guys literally are sitting out in the hangar eating lunch, waiting for me. But there it is. Solo-Amazon-monthly. Yep, I'll put this in the chat box. It's like not populating for some reason. Delete, paste. And if you have any other questions, can you click on that? Everybody make sure they can click on that, the monthly one. Send to all. And then, yeah, this was recorded. I will give you the replay, access to the replay. I'm going to go fly. We'll land. I'll render this recording, and then we will. I'll send you an email with the replay. Haley, I don't drink alcohol due to an allergy. How many large Dr. Peppers do you think I could get for $97? That's good math. Thanks, Rick. You too. Thanks, Pamela. Absolutely. Yep, I'm gonna go fire it up. If you're down here in South Florida, go look up in the skies. We're gonna go going to see the Angels and the Thunderbirds tomorrow in Balt. Awesome, Pamela. That's great. Yeah, God bless Thunderbirds and the Blue Angels, man. Well, more importantly, God bless the folks, the medical folks, man. This was this generation's 9/11, and the medical personnel. Thank you for your service, man. This is as military. This is a war, folks. I'm not kidding you. We're at war with China. They didn't fire a shot. They crippled a carrier battle group. I know Studa Baker, Admiral Baker, call sign Studa. He was an instructor of mine at Top Gun. China didn't even fire a shot, and they put us on our heel. So we are at war right now. All right, so great. I got to run. Like I said, sorry I can't answer 1,000 questions. That's another reason we kind of limit the amount of folks here at Top Gun Options, because as an instructor, like I'm going to go be, I can't stand not answering everybody's questions. So do me a favor, just sign up, and then you can get on board. If you have any questions immediately, as soon as you get on board, do me a favor, watch the Getting Started video. It's right here. What's it cover? Getting started, where everything is, what we do. Let me place this in the chat box too. So as soon as you sign up, go watch this Getting Started video, and guess what it'll do? It'll get you started. Okay, that's your homework for today. Sign up. Either a monthly or a 25% discount on the annual membership right here, man, 25% discount. And you're also going to get those manuals. And then watch the Getting Started video. After that, get in the ready room if you want and go ask questions. Hey, I'm new, or what's this or that, or there's a bunch of good threads in here about what's currently going on in the market and stuff like that. This is fun. Do me a favor, just give it a shot. It's $97, lowest price service here. It's kind of your entryway into Top Gun Options, and you can come check out the hangar, so to speak. Okay. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless. And hopefully I'll see you guys Monday at 2 p.m. in Solo AMZN. God bless and see you. I'll talk to you guys later.